essentially, even with Rio being the term used as hockey on Wano, is essentially the same thing, right? Because what you're doing is you're actually touching the body of the person. Mr. One stated, nobody is able to lay a scratch on me since I've eaten the dice fruit. Reason being because his body is just a blade. Like his whole body is just a blade. A sword is then clashing against another blade. That's it. So you wouldn't see any blemishes on that, right? And if he's using Iron Guard, Iron Body to harden his skin as well
We don't know if
to
that's a
make it
fact.
more tougher.
That's the whole thing about it is it doesn't make sense. Like that statement. Like if his body is made of a blade, right? And hockey's not a
Hmm.
prevalent thing. It's not like it's not like we would fault him if someone just pulled out advanced armor hockey right now. It'd be like, what the fuck is happening? I didn't even know it was a thing. I'm in the East Blue. I'm a frog in the well. Why does he have that? So there was to be no reason for him to guard with hockey when he's a devil fruit sword man. And it's like you said, sword on sword. So it's like to say
Nah,
that
that's where things a little skewed. Mr. One is not in the East Blue. Mr. One is from a different area. Mr. One has been in the Assassin. Mr. One is in the Grand Line, and he's been working for Crocodile, albeit didn't know, right? But Mr. One has already made a name for himself. Feel me? So he's someone that has been through these areas for a minute to make a name for itself in that regards. This could be as long, similar length as Zoro. We don't know. That's never been, put out there. The the point is he says the words Iron Guard, okay?
yeah,
And he puts his fist together in the video you see, puts his fist together, and he says like I believe if I remember correctly, he says like he's hardening his skin, right? But even if he doesn't say that, okay, Zoro can't put a scratch on him after that happens. He literally cannot do
or
it.
before that. Like
That's at the start of the fight.
no, the entire fight until the last attack where he figures it out, he doesn't put a scratch on him. That's the point
Understand what I'm saying?
of the
If
fight.
Mr. One does, if Mr. One does that at the start of the fight, he's saying he hardened his body. His body is as hard as steel, right?
And
So
you don't think that's a description. You think he forged his body hard as steel because of his hockey, not because of his fruit making him a steel person.
I think it's a little of both, right? So you get the aspect like because we
So
look at the
wouldn't he be
Luffy.
harder than steel then? Is he getting a boost from his hockey? So it make more sense for him to gloat about being, even if you can cut hockey, you still have to get through my hockey. I mean, even if you can cut steel, you have to get through my hockey as well. But no, it was like, I'm steel, my fruit is making me the nigga you should be afraid of more than, you know what I'm saying? Like him having some kind of hockey or something else assisting him. It's just the fact that he's steel.
So I'm not saying Mr. One is fully aware that he knows how to use hockey. I'm saying Mr. One is going through similar training as Zoro. Zoro
Uh,
knew he awakened an ability during that fight. And immediately after, he started training again to try to reawaken that ability because he himself stated, I need to be able to tap into that power whenever I want. Mr. One, again, in his own travels, has learned that, which is why you see him close his eyes, calm himself. When we see in the series, we know when Luffy does that with observation, Mihawk applauds him for being calm enough in the situation that regards, and Marine Ford because he was aware enough to be able to prevent his arms from getting cut via observation, which is a form of hockey. Mr. One is calming his body even then. If people want to tie it straight to observation, wrong. Sanji hitting Blue No. Kaku says, be careful with that one, Blue No, because that's a strong fighter. And they pretty much saying like you haven't trained enough, you haven't put your body through enough to be able to continue staying on that path to be a strong combatant in that way. Bluno on the rooftop with Luffy. I gotta calm down. I gotta calm down. Otherwise, he gonna be able to break through my guard. He says that. His whole thing was defense. It wasn't the awareness and wherewithal. It was defense. So if he know he still had to be calm enough for his armament hockey to work, Mr. One then closing his eyes, putting his fist together like that to essentially be a guard, right? And going forward in the fight, Zoro was never able to touch him. So if he initiates this skill set from the very beginning of the fight, Zoro is not. He puts a shield around his body. Zoro is not able to touch him. And if he's being calm enough to retain that shield, whether it's a very thin layer or whatever, in Zoro's attacks and skill set, even though it's shocking him in those moments, it's still not enough to do damage. Plus, his body being a sword. So it's still clashing with another sword. So even if he does get, he still can fall back on that. That's my opinion. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm not
So
saying Oda went, hey, he been doing all this. Possibly. It was a story that was for 5 years. So if we condense and everything, yeah, I can see that.
I have a question
What's up?
specifically for Mr. One. Because Mr. One is interesting, right?
Okay.
He's the only one that's not like kind of like a liquidy type deal. Maybe you could say Kuzan, but that's frozen ice. They're more similar actually. Funny enough. So it's like okay, if you have hockey, right, and you're trying to attack, you're trying to attack Sakazuki. Well, actually, he's bad. If okay, we'll just say Mr. One. If you're trying to attack Mr. One and you have hockey, does that mean as soon as you come into contact with Mr. One's blades that protrude from his body, you're just going to go through it like butter because the hockey is allowing you to touch that person's body? Or will the blade stop you, but you just have a greater chance of breaking or slicing through them type shit? Because it's like if you,
Shit, and
you know what
instead
I'm
of
saying?
Ainu?
I was trying to talk about Akainu, but I was like, let's stick with Mr. One. So Mr. One is what I'm talking about. If you attack Mr. One's blades, right,
Mhm.
you're good. You have hockey, so you should go through the blades and touch the real body, just like you would if you were fighting someone like Mister Three. Like Mister Three's wax, so you can put wax around his body, but when you have hockey, you can just go through. You can touch his real body, like you turn off his invulnerability, right? Does the same thing happen with Mister
Exactly.
One? Does the same thing happen with
Yes.
Mister One? So now I'm saying
Yes.
like, will you like is the fact that his blades are physical and they have a certain denseness? Are you sliding through his shit because hockey is just a magical force? Or are you just busting through his blades easier? Is the thing.
You're not. It's not. It's almost as if like um uh so like Buggy, right, would be a prime example, or Luffy, better example, because we've seen it with Luffy. Luffy is rubber. Blunt attacks don't work. Bullets don't work, right? But Guard hits Luffy, it hurts. Luffy skin doesn't rip and tear apart. Luffy gets damaged the same way Mr. One would get damaged because you're cutting his body. The devil fruit is like Blackbeard's at that point. It's null and void. It doesn't work. So any part that I hit, touch, cut, whatever is the physical person.
Okay. So it's like again, if let's see, Katakuri. He's Mochi. He's like in Mochi mode. He's like he doesn't have legs right now. It's just all Mochi. If I just cut some of that Mochi, that blob of Mochi with hockey, it won't be as if I just cut it regularly, right? It'll just like it'll be non
Wouldn't be as if
effective.
you cut it
Would
regular.
it would be just like I'm cutting him for real? Only and
Yes.
if I can get through his hockey too, along with the devil fruit.
Yes. So your
Okay.
hockey has to be stronger than Katakuri's at that point. And that's the point I'm making. Zoro's hockey had to be stronger than Mr. One's because if Mr. One has never lost a fight against these swordsmen, what swordsmen you've been going up against? Because Zoro in the fight with Mr. One, he put Mr. One on his ass fairly quickly. So the skill set would show you that the fights that Mr. One was going up against with other people wasn't on the level of Zoro. So now you got to understand, okay, so what else is there? Is it just this devil fruit? Us not knowing about hockey, that's the assumption. So with story writing and everything else, that's great. This is the illusion. This is the trick. But you also can see now because you're looking at
What if you got like
um
Luffy, right?
recognize, huh?
So you got someone like Luffy. He's fighting Rob
Okay.
Lucci. He hits him with the jet gatling. My boy has iron body. I
Lucci
think he
has
tried.
hockey.
He has hockey. He tries to guard with iron body, but even though he's using hockey right now, Luffy, who doesn't know he's using hockey, he's just punching as hard as he possibly can, is unconsciously using enough hockey to beat someone who's trained in hockey, right? And
Using more mass.
it's using more mass. Yeah, he's using like his soul or his shadow. Some is making it denser, pretty much like making his attacks denser, making his being that he's using to attack denser. And it's like when Rayleigh was explaining that when Rayleigh was like explaining how hockey works, right? He said it was like your spirit wrapped around your body a millimeter off, and you can shoot it out. You can use it as armor. Is there? It seems like when Garp was explaining to Roger that he had to use all his mass, basically all of his willpower, and they would like they'd passed out afterwards. It's like you have a reserve of energy that's just keeping you awake and active, and then you have like an extra pool that you use for fighting. And you usually don't mix the two because you need to run away, you need to live, you need to be awake during the day, and you need hockey for that. So it's like usually you wouldn't tip over into the emergency reserves, but if you use all of your mass and you've trained enough in hockey to have, I guess, enough chakra to have enough hockey to where it's like if you output all that at once, you can knock out somebody like Domir Roshi rocks. Or if you're like Zoro, who has like unrealized potential with hockey, he can beat Mr. One, even though his body is made of iron and he has hockey protecting him. Because like you said, Mr. One was
Yeah.
like a trained assassin. So he like knew more about fighting in the world, and like you said, maybe hockey, because like the seven powers is kind of hockey for real. And I don't
Six.
know
Yeah.
the six powers, yeah. So was he using iron body like one of the six powers, or was he just a nigga that was metal using a move that was in reference to metal?
So it's both. So obviously we see later on in the story where we can reference that too is someone using six powers and hardening their body that way. Did Mr. One pick that up against a fight with somebody? Potentially irrelevant. Well, what I'm looking at it as to what you just said, like, all right, well, if I just ate this dice fruit, it's a sword, and my body is more sturdy now. I wonder if I can make it even more, um, um, I don't say rigid, but more, uh, what's another word for that?
Uh,
Hold on.
more resilient.
Yeah, more resilient. Resistant, unbreakable. A sense,
Yeah.
yeah, resilient works too. Um, and in doing that, right? So that goes into the process of what you just said. Could be referencing metal. Could be going like, okay, this beam, steel, whatever. I wonder if I could train my body to make it as resistant as that. You know what I'm saying? Like those are we see that in the story literally of Sanji fight with Wanzi. Wanzi has one fire on one skate on one skate on his right foot. Sanji then has flame on his right foot. Luffy sees them kick off the air and do shave. Luffy then is able to do shave. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's not like restricted to one character in this story. We've seen this happen multiple times where people have utilized these things to make references to their own personal growth. So Mr. One, I would assume, and looking at that panel, that he's like making his body more resistant to any type of damage by using Iron Guard.
Oh yeah,
And
his
the
Iron
only other
Guard, and
comparison
then this Iron Body.
right, and the only other comparison we can get at to is Iron Body with CP9, and we know that's a six powers move. Not saying he's learning it and training it and doing that, but he was an assassin. The same way CP9 members are assassins. That might just be a
Mm-hmm.
skill set for assassins.
Got a point there. I wouldn't argue against that necessarily, because it does match up. It would be something that you would want in your arsenal. Like if you knew Haki was out there, you have a devil fruit that already ups your defense. Having another defensive buff would just make you more good at what you're at. More good at what you do
Exactly.
normally. So that being said,
So
either he really
going
wasn't
forward in that
on
fight,
either he really wasn't on a level that we thought he was, or Zoro. I don't know. Because we know how much Zoro's grown, and it's like the longer the series goes on, the more Mister One kind of looks like he fell off a little bit. Because Zoro was unknowingly
he also
using
wasn't great.
Haki against the undefeated swords nigga who's made of swords, right? And he lost. Not only was his not only was his devil fruit overcome, but his Haki as well. It's crazy.
But that's not hard to believe if someone like again, if, okay. So you look at the levels. Crocodile's at the top. Crocodile is obviously aware of hockey. Being a Logia, this is the only thing that could hurt him. If he got taken out by Whitebeard, who uses hockey, there's no reason for Whitebeard to use water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Whitebeard uses hockey, beats Crocodile. Crocodile goes back to the Grand Line. He now understands, like, all right, well, I either need to develop this skill set, or not only that, in the process, let me get this weapon, which I ain't got to worry about this skill set. I could just wipe out islands, right? So you got this individual being lazy, Mr. One doing whatever missions and stuff like that. Cool. So he getting better and he training and doing his own thing on the person on the low, but he's still not at the level of Crocodile because Mr. One can't cut him. Again, if we looked at hockey as, like we said before, like meters, right? And to get to that level 1 meter, it's in four sections. Let's just say Mr. One is at half of, he's point 0.5 and not at a full one, where Crocodile is at a one. It's not going to do any damage to him. We've already seen this in the story. If your hockey is not strong enough or supersedes the other person's, you're not going to do any damage. The reason why Luffy can't touch Smoker, the reason why Luffy can't do these things pre-time skip, because his hockey was not strong enough to do
So
anything against these
okay,
individuals.
so question: Luffy and Mister One.
Hmm.
Let's say, for all intents and purposes, at whatever point Luffy needs to be at to have less hockey mass than Mister One. Let's put him there. Let's say he's 16, like before he went on his journey, right? But he had his fruit and he was a fighter, but he just wasn't ready. So we just say that he's fighting Mister One. Luffy has been shown to bite blades in half. He's been shown to shatter swords, but his hockey isn't as strong as Mister One. Like factually, like wherever we need to put him. How does that interaction go?
If you said hypothetically, it would be a stalemate because
Uh,
it still depends on Mister One's ability to be able to damage Luffy.
okay, I understand like the fight. Yeah, the fight it would be hard for an outcome, right? But within the fight and how hockey has been explained so far, and the skill sets we know, the Zoro needed to get through Mister One's blades to touch his body to injure him to win the fight. Luffy has the strength and the ability to physically get through any blade in the regular world besides blades with hockey or like supreme grades or whatever, you know. But that's not what's here. It's a blade. We can assume that this the metal or the steel that Mr. One is producing is just regular steel. It's nothing crazy. The only thing that will make it harder would be the hockey that he would have with it. But as we've seen, the hockey, he's not Luffy don't have that much hockey, but he can get through the blade, which is what the hockey was for. So now that he doesn't need that, he should be able to beat Mr. One, right?
I'm confused on what you're asking me. Like, I don't repeat the whole thing, but just give me the question of what you exactly asked, because I'm confused on what you actually asking me.
So the overall point, I guess, for the hockey video was we're trying to figure out, hockey. We went down Mr. One and Zoro, and we're like, okay, Zoro needs to learn how to cut steel, and he also, based on the explanation, he needed to have more hockey than Mr. One. So I was just giving a situation to whereas he doesn't, where someone doesn't have the hockey Mr. One has, but they have the ability to get through his main defense, which is what hockey would be in service of. Like if you have enough hockey, you can get past the hockey and the devil fruit because the hockey helps you with the devil fruit and help you with the other person's hockey. But what if you're lacking on the hockey front, but you can get through his blades, i.e., Luffy, because he's strong enough to punch or bite through blades? So it's like, how would that work if they both have, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay. So like again, like okay. So Luffy's obviously Mr. One would be like Mr. One is um Luffy to Mr. One is Luffy to Luffy's Enel, right? So that's common enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like the I forget the way to phrase it, but the enemy to, you know what I'm saying, this individual. So it's like, all right, boom. So Luffy don't have enough hockey to touch Mr. One's actual body. So when you hit him, would he get cut? Yes. However, Luffy is also resilient. So yeah, his body is getting cut because his hockey is low and his body is rubber. Mr. One has more hockey than Luffy, so that matchup wouldn't necessarily work. But to your point, Luffy has also cut swords. Luffy has, I'm not cut, broken swords, bit swords, all this other stuff. So now, if Luffy catches one of Mr. One's blades in his mouth, would he be able to break it? This is his body talking about, though. This is not just a blade. So if he's not able to punch his body, would he be able to break that body? No. So he would probably lose that fight that way.
Okay, okay. All right, hold on. Let's stop right there. You said we've seen Luffy break blades, but we couldn't break Mr. One's blade because his blade is also his body. So now we bring in, so now we ask the question, is Mr. One's blades a greater version of what steel is? And if so, how much? And is that because of hockey or because of just, if he didn't have any trained hockey, he was just someone with the fruit? You're saying his blades is just hard out the gate. His blades are tougher than a regular sword.
Saying, I'm saying the power of the dice fruit turns your body into a sword,
Mm-hmm.
right? So Luffy has the ability to bite a blade, cool,
Yes.
right? He got the ability to break a blade, cool. Okay, so if Mr. One had a dull blade as a body and then attacked Luffy that way, would his blade break? Yes. But the question was Luffy's hockey not being enough. So because Luffy hockey not being enough, then no, he wouldn't be able to break it because his hockey is lesser than Mr. One's. Therefore, he loses. It's to put instead of Mr. One in place Smoker. We go to Logtown. Can Luffy touch Smoker? No. Can Smoker touch Luffy? Yes. Who loses? Luffy. Like Mr. One would beat Luffy with that being the case in that situation. In the actual story,
And not
no,
because of the
because
not because of strength, because of hockey. His hockey would make his blades tougher than Luffy could break.
Mr. One's hockey in that situation that you expressing,
Yeah.
yes, his hockey. In the actual story, right, Luffy would beat Mr. One because of his hockey.
Okay.
There's a there's a reason why you like I feel like Oda doesn't put Luffy in that situation because now it's just you have to give more of an exposition on what hockey is at this point. And if he didn't want to do that so early on in the story, I can just give you a subtle hint to this and then move on. Because otherwise, how is a man rubber beating someone that's a sword with just the willpower? What? Like, is he
Well,
that
it's
strong? The way he can do that?
it would be through like that, and that's what I kind of miss about the early parts of One Piece before hockey was just like an easy out to everything, because it's like it was more about technique and how you approach situation, your creativity, your thought, and you thinking about it. Like it actually like the fighting styles were more thoughtful. It seems like in One Piece now, all the fighting techniques are different poses to shoot out hockey in a direction. Basically, like all moves. Like, I'm gonna do something cool. I'm gonna wind up and I'm gonna throw hockey in some shape, form, or fashion. But it's like the way Oda would write Luffy beating Mister One back in the day would be to like a blade in real life has like break points. Like if you hit it from the side, the sword will break. So it's like that he would incorporate that in some type of way. Like don't get cut. Find where you can punch this nigga. Like find it the fucking the fault point and just break that. Because it's like I said before, hockey almost takes out the fact that Luffy has the strength to break a blade. And it's like we look over that and it'll be like, oh no, even though he's broken a blade before, the hockey makes it so this is like a super blade that he can't break. And now he has to have hockey in order to do something that he could do before if we took out the hockey. Like if we just didn't think about hockey and was like, okay, Luffy has a chance to get cut, but he also has the ability to break Mr. One. And it's like that ability isn't based just all on hockey. Like it shouldn't be all or one in hockey. Like the strength Luffy has that he grew up in a jungle to cultivate shouldn't be thrown out because hockey is just the ultimate yes or no. And it's like I get that's what the story has written out, but it was like as far as the tree time skip, you couldn't just guess how the person was going to get beat. We can pretty much say how everyone's going to get beat in any fight coming up. I don't have to know who's in the fight. It's going to be some kind of variation of hockey stronger than yours. But in the pre-time skip, it was like if Luffy didn't have this, and this happen, and then him with all his skills maneuvering through that maze and getting out, then he would have lost. But now it's like, oh, his hockey was stronger. So it's like I wish it was more explanation and more, okay, if this happened, then it's like the perfect storm. Like sometimes Luffy was looked at as a kid who fell into the perfect storm. Like if he went left instead of right, it would have been over for him. But in the pre and the post time skip, it's like you can go left or right as long as you got hockey. You can go through the middle. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of like takes away from it, for me at least.
True, and I can see that. You also gotta remember, like, luck is a thing. Luffy, Buggy, like, it's so many characters in One Piece that are like
You
have
make your own
so
luck with
Zoro.
hockey.
What? Because willpower, right? But it's also like okay, Zoro throwing up the sword. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the what's the name shook like, man, you gonna cut your arm off. Ah, I guess you know what I'm saying. My
And
luck was stronger than this
and
person,
guess
than this
and guess what would have
blade
taken
person.
away from that scene? Guess what would have taken away from that scene if we knew Zoro had arm in hockey and it wouldn't have mattered, right?
But that's the point of storytelling, right? So again, like, with the very first time you watch that fight with Mr. One and Zoro, or the very first time you watch that in the shop when that happening, you know Zoro was not using hockey because it was not a thing to you, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
were so based on just the story and what it was presenting to us, like, oh, okay, well, yeah, Zoro's luck just was better than this than the blades, curse, cool. So we carry on. I'm not saying he was using armor hockey. What I'm saying is his willpower directed the blade to, because we know the story tells us that if your will is stronger than the blades, you can control this. It's what you have to do with Enma, what you have to do with other blades in order for them to darken or whatever. I guess I don't know if that's darkening is the correct way or not, but um, just sticking with Emma,
Yeah.
you have to have a stronger will in that regards of Emma,
What the
right?
fuck is up
To
with Emma too?
control
That's crazy.
that. But the point, what I'm saying, so his will was able to redirect that. Now you
Mm-hmm.
saying like with that information, because of the luck. You know what I'm saying? The luck, will is synonymous in this story. So with that
Oh,
information,
okay.
no,
Half and
you
half.
don't think so?
But
Yeah, I mean
um
not in every situation, but I'm saying it
yeah,
can be
yeah, yeah.
viewed that way.
That's why I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, like I get you. Yeah, but it's like
yeah,
as far as how that went, the luck part of that and willpower weren't the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that was him being lucky because the blade didn't like when they say the blade didn't I guess punish or attack you like it's your blade. It wouldn't harm you. It went around his arm. That's luck. And the only way you can say that is the blade chose. Even though it's like a twofold thing in One Piece specifically. Because if you did that in real life, it would be like you legit just got lucky. But in One Piece, it's like that will, whatever hockey is, it permeates through everything. And that sword has a little bit of will of its own in some kind of way. However you want to, it has a shadow. So I guess it has some form of will, some form of hockey. And it could have influenced the chances, like, you know what I'm saying, in its own way. And like, that in itself is like, okay, that's lucky, and the sword is helping the luck, but it's ultimately, a show of faith. Like you're communicating with your sword through this. Like you're acknowledging its will, and it's like I'm gonna lead this up to you. You can cut my arm off, or you can like wake up and go around my arm in some kind of way, like some kind of silent communication. And you found the rhythm of your blade. You've talked to about putting yourself in danger. However you want to say it, and it's like that's cool, right? And that example in itself shows the tension and the good writing in One Piece. And it's like that's how One Piece was back in the day. Like Luffy had to put his life on the line and put everything he learned about how to be a pirate in the world and how to survive and all his training and fighting and martial arts. And then, like I said before, if Zoro did that same thing, it would be like I wouldn't feel the same because he has hockey. He could choose not to do it and really lose his arm, like, you know what I'm saying. That could have happened with that could have been what happened to his eye, like you know what I'm saying. He did the same thing, but he bet his eye this time and he lost it. I don't know, but it's like the hockey takes out some of the shit because it's not heavily explained past you either have it or you don't. And if you have it, you got to have more than the other guy. And that's hockey in a nutshell, really, right?
Everybody has it. Whether you know how to utilize it or not, yes. So have it or don't in that regards, yes. But you got to fully flesh it out that thought. And yes, it has to be stronger than the next person's.
Mm-hmm. And
So again, like if like Gaming said before, so everything is hockey. Then that like it's so ambiguous. Like there's no way. I'm like, but okay, so again, in certain moments, Luffy talking to Sanji and Usopp on Skypiea before they go down the cliff, right? He scares them because like, man, what if it's just like a fall, like we fell off the whole island or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they get mad at him, woo woo. And I think he even said like, oh, I got lucky or whatever, or something. It could be referenced in that type of way. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
To where like he falls and like doesn't get hurt. Well, he don't get hurt because he's made of rubber. And other people are like, well, oh, I guess I got lucky. I guess you know what I'm saying. Like, nah, it's a reason to this. You know, so it's like I'm not saying in everything, but in everything. You know what I'm saying? If this is already a story written condensed to this time frame of five, right? And you have a concept of multiple power systems in this story to where you can be protected by this entity depending on your willpower. And this character, this is the main character, is showing us that they have a very strong willpower. They have a resistance to other people. They are not willing to bend the knee. So going forward, other people that flock to this individual, Mihawk, expressing that your main power is the fact that you're able to bring people together, bringing nations together under under your will, because your shadow casts that it's that big. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, you just superseding other. It don't work. So certain things gonna happen to you and for you because of your will. And other people will reference that, damn, this guy's really lucky. You say in the real world, if I throw a sword up and I stick my arm out, oh, he got lucky. If I envision this sword not cutting me, if I look at this sword, don't cut me, and I tell this thing, you better not cut me, and I know how to flip it up to where it won't cut me, am I lucky?
Well, that point with that
To
last
you,
sentence, you would be skilled because you just said, I know how to flick it up. If you just didn't know how to flick it and you flicked it and it didn't cut you, then measurably, you're lucky.
so
Immeasurably,
the
the
sword,
intangibles, you're not lucky. You
so the,
influenced it with
so the
something.
sword, so the sword was bending to my will.
No,
That's the point. Yeah, because
no.
the sword went to my skill set. My skill set, my will of having this sword go the way I wanted it to go, so it would not cut me. Yes,
That's not luck then.
that's the way I'm looking. Exact, but it can be based on the perception of the person. Other people in that room with Zoro said, "Oh, he's a lucky guy."
But what's
It's been a long
true?
time since I came across. He also followed up to say, "It's been a long time since I came across a real swordsman or something in that vein." Right. So that also infers both. That's what I mean. It's not one thing in the
No, it is
story.
one
There's
thing
a duality.
because if some guy who doesn't know how something's done, like a magician, you can say magician's lucky, but if a magician pulls a trick on you, he's using his skill. And more what you're saying, he bent reality. And perception means you're seeing something and you're interpreting it based on what you've seen. But there's some things you haven't seen that's influencing it. So then it takes out it being luck and it being something engineered. Like you said, I know how to flip it. If some random person that doesn't know how to flip it flips it, then it doesn't cut him as luck because he didn't influence it. He didn't ask the sword anything. So that's luck. But if you do it and then you ask the sword, or even if he asked the sword, right? But he didn't know how to do anything, he didn't know how to flip the sword, him asking in the real world won't have an effect. It may have an effect in One Piece because say he's super lucky right? He has no idea how to flip the sword so it won't cut you. His luck might intervene on his behalf, but his skill won't influence it. Therefore, he's not bending anything to his will. You feel me? But as far as like
When
people
did we
in the
start
war in the
doing
One Piece world, I get what you're saying. It's just not the fucking the way it weaves together is too I don't want to use the word convenient, but that's the only thing that's coming to mind. It's like so you don't have to explain shit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, okay, Nin. Let's go back to Nin.
Mm-hmm.
We had a conversation earlier. The example I gave of Gon using the ability to suppress his presence when using his fishing rod to take the tag from Hisoka. That is similar to every character that does not know how to use hockey in One Piece pre-time skip. There are people that are just doing things based on intuition and instincts. Luffy finds Mr. Three in the forest in Little Garden. Mr. Three, how'd you know where I was at? Luffy, instincts. He calmed himself. He realized he was very observant. And based on his upbringing with Garp and everything else, and just the time he spent in general, he was able to be aware of who this in the like who the right one was. This
Think it
in
was like
those
Rayleigh
situations.
on Skyna when he like
What you mean?
when he figured out how many people on the island, how strong they were. It's like a baby version of that.
I mean, it's similar to that, yeah. But that's also a form of hockey. Is one like that's. I mean, yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
you could utilize that way if you want. I'm just saying, like it's a form of hockey, but we don't know that at that point in time in the story.
Because it could just been
So what I'm saying is,
instincts like based off his training, like you said, like it's more training than him using hockey.
or
But it's hard to
it just
distinguish the two.
yeah, and again, like instincts could be utilized in different ways. Like instinct, whether outside of training or just his intuition. It was just my instincts. I guessed I was lucky. You know what I'm saying? Like those things could be all ruled in the same in that if someone wanted to do that based on perception.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is like with Nin also you had other people and characters doing things previous to them learning what Nin was. And then when we get the explanation for that, because it was so fully fleshed out, now when you go back and look at things a Hunter x Hunter, you can tell like, oh yeah, well Gon was doing this. Oh well, Hisoka was using this. Oh well, what's this is why they was able to Buddy was able to run as long as he was because he was using Nin because he's a hunter. You know what I'm saying? So when
Mm-hmm.
you look at this story now differently, like all these things make sense because you have the information. So if someone was to say, "Oh no, that the dude doing exams, he ain't had no Nin," wouldn't you say that person saying that isn't making any sense? Because everybody has Nin. Everybody has Nin in Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
You Gon literally showed the fact that he was able to do it. You can train yourself to do this. Everybody has it. It's just whether you are skilled enough and able to utilize it well. That's the same concept with hockey. Rayleigh told us that. Everybody has it. You awaken it. In your awakening, you are aware that you have this power. Zoro showed us that. Now I want to train it. Zoro trains. Luffy doesn't even know he does it. And that's why I keep saying the fight with Crocodile. He awakens it in the fight with Crocodile.
Oh, here
He
we
awakens it
go.
before it even.
I
All
really
right.
can't.
Look,
Can you go through this, please? I need to understand it
oh,
fully.
what you want? You want the panels again? You want the video? Like, what do you want?
No, I just want you to explain the crocodile thing because we've talked about it, but we're on the video, so I just wanted to go through it.
Oh, I didn't know we were streaming. All right.
No, I'm
Or
not
doing the
streaming.
video
I'm
right now.
recording. Yeah, yeah, because
Oh,
I
okay.
figured we were just going to keep yapping, and might as well just get it in now.
Understood. Um, so crocodile, no, Luffy, right? A crocodile on the roof. Okay. In the anime, I'm gonna just say this, and then I'm gonna go right for it. In the anime, when Crocodile does the slashing attack where Luffy has to move his body and goes to the side and barely dodges it, you see little purple lightning streaks. I just need that a black kind of purplish. I need that to be noted that he may have been using Haki Crocodile himself with very small amounts of it, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
very tiny amounts of it, okay? Because again, this is Mr. One Zoro example. Luffy loses that water. Luffy, boom, boom. The water falls back down. He runs. He comes across Tashigi. Tashigi tells him where to go to Crocodile. You know what I'm saying? The direction he's going. So he runs going towards Crocodile. He starts to get over there and he notices like a cave area. So he starts to go that direction. He says, "Man, I'm getting tired," or yeah, like fatigued or whatever. It's not because of my wounds. These are small. I ate a lot of meat. I'm gonna just lay down and rest right here for a little bit. Mind you, there's a war going on. He's pressed for time. He has to beat Crocodile, but he can't help but go to sleep. He can't help but take some time to rest. Okay, I gave you an example. Nin is we're gone. The information, where have we seen that? In One Piece, similarities, right? So we fast forward to Dressrosa. Luffy got to take 10 minutes to fight with Doflamingo. That's now synonymous with Crocodile. He has to take time to restore his Haki to fight Crocodile. He goes down there in the cave. Crocodile has an awakening. Ever since he got to Alabasta, it has not rained. You down there in the tunnel, in the cave, in the, or whatever, in the underground area to where the moisture is gone. He hits Crocodile, goes through a wall. Oh, is he using his blood? That's not the first time he does it. The first time Crocodile says it, let's go back,
You got the
when he was on the
panels.
rooftop fighting Crocodile. I do have the panels.
You seen the panels?
That's yeah, the second time he says it when he's underground. The first time Crocodile says it is when he's on the rooftop with Luffy. And when Luffy comes up with as water Luffy and everything else, he grabs Crocodile. And Crocodile, and in the anime, it shows you this. And Crocodile is perplexed because he's like, how is he able to do this? He don't even know Luffy is using water. He's raising the question then because he's thinking that he's using Haki. Because of course Crocodile would know.
Mm-hmm. So you
So
think he's using hockey?
the only way
We find out he's using
ain't no
water.
ain't no thinking for me. Ain't no thinking for me. He
I'm talking
Crocodile
about from
knows what Luffy.
Crocodile. No, dog.
Oh well, yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
No, 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 no. Crocodile knows Luffy is using hockey, but it's just a
No,
small
bro.
amount. But it's just like I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
telling you,
just.
it's similar. It's similar to Ivan. It's similar to Ivankov at that point because you got to look at it. Look. He gets hit by Luffy, and he like, oh, he using water. He don't even know. I can still beat Buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like I could beat dude. It's easy. When you get to the cave, how are you still here? How are you still alive? I killed you twice. I obscured you. I've buried well 3 times. I obscured you. I buried you alive, and then I dehydrated your body. How are you still alive? Feel me? Y- He back. He hits me. Why am I being hit? He ain't got no water on him, and he don't know what he doing with hockey. This don't make sense. Oh, he using his blood. Blood drying out. His body
Okay,
weak. He
stop,
poisoned.
bro. He's
Hold on, no, no, no. This is
the
this is
blood
happening.
dried
This
out is not
this is
canon. We gotta
It's,
stop
it is canon. It is canon.
this.
'Cause
We gotta stop this.
You never see Luffy. You never see Luffy's body leaking blood outside of the first time. You never see his body leaking any more blood. So how is he producing more blood?
What about the
He would
blood?
have to constantly keep.
You would have to be injured and have a gash, a wound that doesn't stop
And he
bleeding.
don't
Like you
have
can
that.
get
And he
how
don't.
how did
Exactly. Exactly.
how
The
was he
same.
bleeding the first time? How did the blood get to the
Look,
first?
look, look,
The
look.
the way the
Listen.
first blood got there,
I'm
that's the
telling you.
way the
I'm telling
extra
you.
blood got there.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Because Luffy had to punch. Luffy had to punch a wall to get through there, even to hit Crocodile. So he made it that way, right? You then hit Crocodile, right? His arm is bleeding. Okay. The same way you just said he would have to have a repeated gash open is the same reference to him being Water Luffy. He had to constantly keep wetting his body to make sure that, or have moisture on his body to make sure that he could even touch Crocodile. And he was like, better yet, I'm gonna just get you wet. So then this way I don't need how to do that, and I could just hit you,
So doesn't that add
right?
to my point that even if Luffy's blood dried up, he got him wet with his blood already, so he's good.
You have to hit him in that same spot the whole time. It doesn't do the whole body. When he spit on Crocodile, it was the top half. He didn't hit him any lower. He hit his top body.
You
Crocodile was like,
you
man, I can't move.
you want to know how I know Luffy has punctures in his body? When he tried to be Water Luffy, that nigga had holes in his body. He lost the water,
I
so
didn't,
you know he's
I didn't say
bleeding.
I didn't I didn't say he didn't have a puncture. What that me
You
mentioning the
was
fact that
you, you saying he
he
doesn't have
said
any
these
more
wounds first of
blood.
all, bro. Come on,
You
man.
say he didn't have more blood, and because the blood dried up and there's no more blood, I'm like he's riddled with holes at this point, so he's bleeding
When does
everywhere.
when, when does he show that again in the story? Like when does
Oh,
he show? No, for real, he doesn't. Even when the water splashes back on him and he comes whole again, you don't see them bandages on him like that. He just going around fighting crocodile, looking for crocodile at that point, and then going to fight him. Them bandages are not a concern anymore. Like that. That was just a gag in that moment in time and a playful pun, but also to remind everybody he still got stabbed here. That's
yeah.
it.
And then the whole point of me saying that was that he has plenty of blood, he has plenty of ways to be bleeding. So it makes more sense that it's more the blood than Luffy's using hockey. Maybe you could say he has like you said, there's a splash of hockey in there, but he's not hitting Crocodile right now because of the hockey. He's not using it that effectively.
Only way, the only way you can beat a Logia is
That's
with hockey
that's not
or
true.
their element. Or
That's
their
not
element,
true. Okay.
unless you can counter their element. Luffy versus a nail, rubber versus lightning. Luffy was able to hit a nail, but he couldn't do more damage on the nail on a constant basis. Why? Because he didn't have hockey,
You know what the
right? He
parallel
didn't have
is? You know
he
what the
didn't have the
parallel is?
proper hockey to be able to beat him. What's up?
The parallel, in a way, funny enough, is Katakuri. Because beat Croc. Luffy got beat by Croc 3 times. You can slice it up however you want with Katakuri beating Luffy. You can say 3 times. Like we flash back to him, and every time we flash back, that nigga was getting owned. So that's more, excuse me, of what was happening. Like the same way Luffy didn't have pretty much a prayer until he pulled out, you know, a different type of hockey, or just utilizing hockey the same way he utilized water. It's the same thing there. Like Luffy was putting up a good fight, but he was ultimately, if he kept on the path he was on, he was going to lose until he decided to, use a different tactic. Like it's, like Katakuri Future Sight, Crocodile Water. I think that's more. It's just it'd be so weird to focus on the water, have Mizo Luffy, have Luffy with the water barrel, have Luffy with the blood, and he beat him because of hockey.
It's not weird when it's the willpower. Bro, he was dying down there in that area because he got poisoned. Crocodile saying the effects of your body, that should already be affecting your body. You shouldn't even be able to stand.
Haki
It should
helped
be
him
killing you. It should
move.
be. It should,
Hockey helped him move, but it didn't help him fight Crocodile. I think that's the like you can give
it's his
credit to Hockey.
willpower.
His willpower to use water and blood. If he didn't use those, if those things weren't there, those not the same effects wouldn't happen. That's my point. Like if Luffy never thought to use the blood, if he never thought to use the water, and he just kept trying to punch him, just like Smoker, he would have died. Like he couldn't punch Smoker enough for him to generate Haki and beat Smoker. It just wasn't gonna happen. Same exact thing with Crocodile, except there's a more he has a ready it's more his weakness is more readily available. Having water sucks in the water world. If your weakness is water and you didn't even get beat with water technically, you got beat with blood, which contains water, it's like Smoker did like they didn't have something on hand to beat Smoker's ass with. Because then if they beat Smoker's ass with like some kind of fan, it'd be like, oh, he channeled the Haki through the fan. It's like, no, the fan was his express weakness. So his express weakness is what beat him in conjunction with Luffy having the will to fight and to actually go up against Crocodile in that sense, like metaphorically, but not like physically. Like it won't at some point Oda brings in the metaphysical will to the physical world. It's the physical manifestation of will. And that's what happens with Haki. And of course, like we said before, it can leak out. But it's not I don't think this is a time where Haki leaked out and helped Luffy out of a jam. I think this was Luffy earning a win.
Hold on, hold on. So you say this is not a time when that happens, where the
Yeah.
metaphysical will leaks out into and to be able to come existence in our realm, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But right after that, right after that, the arc immediately right after that, Jaya, where we meet Blackbeard, and Blackbeard references Luffy impaled down to tell him, hey, your Haki has gotten stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Why would that even be a point? Why even tell him your Haki gotten anything in any form or fashion?
I got it. You ready? You ready to go back to
What's
Hunter x
up?
Hunter? You ready to go back to Togashi? When
Mm-hmm.
Wing was training the boys before they was able to even know what Nin was, Wing was able to see the aura around them, how it was leaking out constantly, like everyone else does before they control it. Then he forced open their aura nodes. He saw they saw their own aura, they saw everyone else's aura, and they was able to control the aura that's leaking out around them. So it's like Blackbeard, he had his Haki eyes open, he had his nodes open, and he saw that Luffy went from a Super Saiyan 1 aura to a Super Saiyan 2 aura with electricity, and it was bigger. And he's like, oh shit, you did it. You went from level 1 to level 2. But it's not like you can't look at somebody and see their technique. It's like even in Hunter x Hunter, it was like the fact that Killua turned off his Haki alerted everyone on that floor who was tracking his Haki before when as soon as he got up there. Because he went Zetsu, not Haki, sorry, his Nin. Because he was trying to sneak up on that dude in the Heaven's Arena with the yellow. He got his ass beat by Hisoka. I can't remember his name. But he tried to sneak
Yeah,
up
I know
on
you're
him.
talking about, yeah.
And then he turned his aura off. And it was like, nigga, you turned it
But he
off, and
put the
now we
body
can't.
double.
Yeah, we tried to track, and now we know that you're here because all that power disappeared at once. So it's like he didn't know. I think at that point he didn't know about Zetsu actually. But my point is like you can see aura in somebody, but you don't see their technique. You can guess because the better you are hiding your nin, the higher level fighter you are. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he just saw the fact that you're still like Shank said, you're still a bean sprout or whatever. I can see your Haki, but you're letting leak all over the place. Your gear forth is sloppy. Your Haki's all over the place. So it's like your hockey can be seen and it can grow, but your technique and how you use it can still be rudimentary or amateur. That's what I'm
So
saying.
yes, right. But also the point that like that you talk about, then you like go over. Talk about, then you go back and go
Mm,
like look. One thing Luffy has done consistently through the story is the same thing Blackbeard has done. Blackbeard showed like, hey, look, your power pretty strong. Luffy tell, hey, you a strong combatant, you a strong fighter. Hey, he looks pretty strong. This and the third. He
mm-hmm,
told he told the Monkey Brothers, right, before going up to Skypiea. The one with the green, I can't remember his name, but it started with an M. He was like, I bet you can kick his ass, the other one. And he's like, what? And he never even thought about it. So then he goes up behind him, literally kicks him in the behind, and dude goes soaring. And he's like, oh, I guess I can kick his ass. He didn't realize that he was potentially stronger than his brother or his friend, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Didn't realize it. But Luffy saw that, right? In the same way, Luffy in the bar with Zoro and Nami going up against Bellamy. Y'all small fries. There's no reason for Shanks to take down them mountain bandits. They small fries.
mm-hmm.
I'm good on y'all. I don't care. Like you're not doing nothing. Y'all in here. You doing whatever. It's the same thing. He knew they power level. He knew what they was on. I can beat y'all. I'm not tripping. You not like a real fight for me.
Yeah,
And even
but
then, he's
okay, but
not knowing me out.
Haguma had hockey at the time, right?
Aguma.
Haguma, the Mound Bandit.
Oh, Haguma.
Yeah,
Uh, did he have hockey? No, I don't think he did.
right. But him and Luffy were pretty much in the same place as far as fighting crocodile. If you took Haguma, they got blown away by Rue. You put him in front of crocodile. Him and Luffy exerting the same amount of hockey as far as crocodile is concerned. Luffy can punch all day, no water, no blood, nothing's happening. Haguma swing his dumbass sword, he's getting low diffed. The only difference between the two is Haguma probably wouldn't get enough time, he wouldn't get helped, and there's not enough plot to push him toward using water on this nigga. He would just die. Luffy, on the other hand, had a whole story pushing him to use water to beat Crocodile because he's weak to water and blood. And then pretty much just wetness, I guess. Is water wet? And then Haguma, he probably sweat because he knows he's about to die, but he probably wouldn't think to wipe it on his sword or anything. But it's like I just don't. The only reason I'm fighting you so much on the crocodile hockey thing is I really just don't want to give everything in hockey everything in One Piece over to hockey. Like I don't want it to
It's not.
seep
That's the
through
thing.
everything.
It's not everything. But you can't. Okay, it's the same way as oxygen. Like oxygen is in this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you think about oxygen always being in the world? No. It's that concept. It's literally that concept. To where you don't think about oxygen until someone references it, or unless like you don't have enough to breathe. You don't think about air unless there's a strong wind, a gust, tornado, all this other stuff. But you know it's there. You just also forget that it's there because it's just there. Before it was even brought to your attention that it was there, you were breathing. That doesn't mean that like, oh, I can't believe it. This whole time it's been air. It has, and it doesn't make it a bad thing. No,
That would
that's
make
the way that
sense.
story is.
That would make sense if air had another level to it. Like it starts to fall apart when you know that everything has air, right? But then there's a way to use air in different ways. And then you go back and it's like, oh, okay, the air cannon was discovered in whenever, 1879. And everything after that point, niggas been using air cannons. So now air is like crazy. But if you go back to 1710, nigga had a little mini air cannon in his pocket and it helped him do. It'd be like, bro, what do you mean? We didn't have air cannons till 1879. But now you're saying back in 1710, a nigga was using an air fucking cannon some kind of way, and you've woven air. It's like yeah, air's and everything, but air cannons aren't in everything. So it's like that's the difference, because now hockey is his weapon that we can use in different ways, and now we're sneaking into the beginning of the story to where it's like the point was to highlight this about Luffy. The fact that he's willing he'll bleed, he'll die for the shit. He's creative. He thinks on his feet. If everything is, if that's just taken away, and it's like the blood didn't really matter because he had hockey, he was using a percent, then it's like either you're taking away from hockey or you're taking away from the blood weakness that you gave the character. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you want to know why this isn't like a strong argument?
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you why. And I don't like using this, but I've used it once. But I don't like using it because I don't really rock with the series like that. So there's a character that you know well that is very resilient. When they lose, they get stronger. Um, and it's because of their ability, right? Um, and in doing that, they go against strong combatants. They actually seek them out because they want to get better. Because iron sharpens iron, right? Um, would you say that that's a okay character? Would you say that that's a okay story? Would you say like that's a cool concept that this person, no matter what they're up against, they're gonna try to find a way to win. They're gonna blood, sweat, and tears push themselves to the limit to just figure out a way to prevail in these situations. Would you say that's a good series, right?
Oh, I have a caveat to that, but yes, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, okay. And then you realize when in this series that there's another power set that they can train. And in training this, they can create blasts from their body. And creating these blasts from their body and different energy sources, oh, not energy, different, weaponize this energy in different ways, manipulating the surroundings and other people. And then there's also the main character, this one person who, no matter what, they even change their hair color to blonde. They gather all of this power source. It's always been there that they didn't know was there until they started learning how to utilize it because they're not even from the same place. Heck, they're an alien, right? And because of them being an alien, they have the ability to heal and gain these other feats after losses or fights in general, even if they win, right? But he learns from a master about energy that he can collect, not only in his own body, but he also learns from another master that he can take that same energy that's not in his own body, but it's in everything. Because he was unaware of this. He was unaware that this was around him this entire time. He collects all this energy to make a bomb
Oh boy, you are
to destroy a
trying.
planet.
You're trying so hard. I appreciate it, but the only difference is
And
if
no and
Goku,
nobody says that series is bad.
if
Nobody
Goku,
says that series is a
he,
bad thing that we got
he
key.
here's what you're trying to do. You're trying to say that Goku fights and beats Frieza because of the spirit bomb. And then what you're doing with the One Piece point is then you're gonna say that when Goku was fighting what is that nigga's name? General Tao back in Dragon Ball, that when it hit the final move that took out General Tao wasn't whatever Goku did at the time. It was really him using the spirit bomb, but just a little bit. Like unknowingly, he spirit bombed that nigga, but it was just in his fist for real, and he didn't know he was gathering chi from the planets. It just kind of happened, and then he used that spirit bomb that he didn't know was a spirit bomb and beat General Sal, even though the spirit bomb was made when he beat Frieza. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to give these mythical
It's a
points,
key
and
blast.
you're trying to
Key blast.
retro what
It's a key blast. It's just a key blast. He just used the key blast against the
the
general.
big
That's it.
the big difference between a key blast and a spirit bomb is one, the spirit bomb only works on evil people. Two, you gathering energy outside of yourself, ambient energy from different
I'm
planets,
not
people,
saying
all that shit. And no, that is the point. Like the minutia is the point. I'm saying that the spirit bomb is a specific thing and it uses a specific way and it has its purpose. If you try to slide that in to something before the technique was really honed in and discovered by the character, it cheapens whatever he did at the time, and it messes up the continuity of the power system that you're trying to copy and paste when it wasn't
no,
applicable.
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, because Goku learned Kamehameha. He learned how to do a Kamehameha before he learned how to do a Spirit Ball.
What does that have to do with
He
my
did the
point?
same property.
That's
You,
not the
you,
same thing.
yo,
Kamehameha uses
yo,
your energy. Spirit Bomb uses other people's energy. So I'm saying, like, you can't do both. Like, if you
but
use a key
listen,
blast,
listen,
you're not doing a spirit bomb.
listen. The concept, the concept
The
is to
technique
gather.
is the point.
The
You
concept, the technique is to gather. It's to
not no,
gather.
it's
The
not.
point
No,
is
it's
to
not.
gather. Yes, it is.
You don't
That's
gather ambient energy. That's the fact. You don't gather ambient energy and fire it with a Kamehameha. That comes solely from you. The spirit bomb specifically takes energy from outside of you, and it can only hurt evil people. There's literally rules to the spirit bomb, and that's what I'm saying. There's rules to the hockey, and there's
valid,
rules to devil
valid,
fruit. So it's like
valid.
you're trying to use the concept of a spirit bomb and say it's basically the same thing as Kamehameha when it's not. And that's the point with the hockey and the blood. There's a fine line. You can't go over it just because it looks cool.
The points that you're making are accurate to what you're saying, but that's not what I'm getting to. That's not the point that I'm making. The reason why I even referenced the spirit bomb was not to say that they're the same. The similarities of what I'm showing between the two is the fact that Key, the same way from the video that I showed you with old boy, Key has been prevalent in the story. Nobody, based on what you said before, it dampens, it sours the story because to know the fact that hockey is the main source of all this. No, not I've never heard one person say, never heard one person say it's an ass full or it softens the story when Goku uses a spirit bomb. I've heard people say it's redundant that Goku had used a spirit bomb multiple times to beat a villain when it was pretty much he said he can only do it once, right? But outside of that, no. Nobody expresses the fact that Ki being this energy source throughout Dragon Ball Z that essentially if you're in on what's the name's planet, uh Kami's house, not Kami's house, what's Buddy with the big dude with the cricket and the and Bubbles, the monkey, what's his name? With the
King
car.
Kai, King Kai,
King Kai, thank you. Um you on his planet, right? You over there, not planet, but you over there in his realm, his area, right?
he does have a planet.
Weighted down. I mean, well, okay, but it's it's weighted down, right?
Mm.
But the energy is also different there. You train there is different. The same way you train in the hyperbolic time chamber is different. Same way Vegeta training on the ship is different. Obviously, weight structures come into play, all this other stuff like that. Cool. But if you go to Namek, it's different there too. Not because of the weight, because of the chi that's over there. Every place it this energy source has been around the entire story that other people, depending on the circumstances they in, they train, and you could bring that, you could pull that into your own. It's not just ambient. You could pull that into your own self and have that and house that in yourself, because that's gods of destruction as well too. When they destroy the planets and all that stuff, they consume those powers. If I'm not mistaken, they consume it.
I didn't watch
on
the
some
that one. I
black.
didn't watch Super like that.
I ain't really watched it either. That's all I remember like that. So I could be wrong. So I'm gonna just say that. But I feel like that's the case. So what I'm saying is, it's like nobody that I've heard that watches Dragon Ball Z references saying like Ki is trash. The fact that Goku or Piccolo using the beam and also no, they just look at those as powers. But the reason why they're even able to do a beam is because of Ki. This is not just them just doing a beam. But we didn't know none of that stuff. If people didn't watch Dragon Ball, you didn't know why Goku was doing it. You just had to understand that this is what he does until Spirit Bomb. If you watch Dragon Ball, then you get more completion of the story and understanding that stuff. But even then, going forward, you don't have a problem with the fact that it's Key being the reason that they doing all this because you just look at it as this is just another move.
That's but
Oh, and
you're not making an actual one to one with the argument of crocodile. Like you're
I,
talking about
I
something
am,
else.
I am,
I mean,
I am
think
though.
you
But what
are,
I'm
but it's like you're not getting the main point of what I'm saying. Like the
okay, so let me say it this way. Let me say it this way. Luffy, you expressed Luffy being this individual who getting it out the mud. Goku is an individual to get it out the mud. Goku has Ki, Luffy has Haki. Chi, Haki, right? Goku learns the power set. Luffy does not. Continue gets it out the mud. Goku, with learning this power set, continue getting out the mud. He ranks higher, right? He starts to ascend. Luffy plateaus until he comes across a villain, which now he has to beat, right? That then allows him to peak, right? Those are the similarities here. When you get the crocodile, when you get the Frieza, Super Saiyan, Blossom, pinching the back, Luffy, in order to hit crocodile, because he couldn't touch Smoker, all he had to use water. All he had to use is blood. It's hockey because he's dying, literally dying down there. Goku is literally getting packed up. He watched his friend die. I'm frustrated. I'm mad. All this shit going on. I need to change something. The will, the fire that's inside. These are the similarities. I need to tap into this chi. I need to tap into this power being a Saiyan, right? I need to tap into this
oh
will.
man,
I need to tap into this, bro. I'm telling you, I need to tap into this is the same. This both Hanuman and
you're talking
and what's her
about
name?
themes,
The
and I'm trying
Monkey
to talk
King.
about
These are the same.
technicality, and you're bringing up themes and things that narratively does X, Y, and Z. That's the problem. You keep going to this space where they're resembling each other in these ways that are getting away from the applications of the technicality of what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like you're talking about the American spirit that it took to create a can opener instead of talking about how well the can opener works. Like, I'm talking about A, B, and C, not you're going away from the point. Like the point is, I'm trying to say that if you're trying to compare Dragon Ball, like like a continuity error that or continuity dispute, we'll call it that, because you think Luffy's using hockey, I think he's using blood, and I think the X factor is the blood. You think the X factor is the hockey. That's basically where I think we're at. And then you're talking about how you're talking about something else. I'm talking about in Dragon Ball. If in Dragon Ball Z, right, there's one power source. Goku from the beginning was trained in how to use this shit. He was like, this is what it is, and you do what you can do. And if you see other niggas out there, they're gonna do some shit with it too. You can either use what they learn, incorporate it into what you got, and fight. And it's cut and dry. There's nothing else it could be. When Luffy beats Birder and Jace from the Ginyu Force, he didn't beat Birder and Jace because he used some special item that people of Jace's race, like Jace, the red nigga, if you hit him with this special stone, you'll be able to damage him. And then we go back, and I was like, oh, it wasn't the special stone that Goku used. Goku's chi reinforced the stone, and that was the thing that really got. That's how you're coming at this crocodile thing. And I'm like, yo, we can't infuse Haki. We can't infuse some kind of special stone into Goku beating Jet. He just punched him, or he used a beam. There's cut and dry. If I went back and tried to say Goku was using something else other than his fucking fist to beat Rakum's ass, it'd be like, how? And it's like, oh, well, if you look, you know what I'm saying? You see special steels affect different races, and Goku had that steel. It's like you're pasting a bunch of other stuff on something that was already explained, and you're trying to make it fit. And it's like, with One Piece, there's two powers going on, so you can do that. Because in Dragon Ball, there's no secondary power.
Yes,
There's
it
nothing.
is.
All right.
Yes, it is.
So there's key
It's
and what
everybody
else?
being from different planets.
So there's key and what
Saying
else?
Goku being a saying is a power.
And it allows him to do what?
Change forms.
And then with those forms, he does what? He uses key and punches.
Gain more
So,
power.
and he uses key and punches. So when I say power system, an application of power. Like there's no difference
Oh,
between
we just seen him
like
go. We just seen him go Ultra
Pick
Instinct.
on uses fire, right? That's a different application. Not the beam is fire, but it's just still heat in some kind of way. I'm saying like
We just
the,
seen him go Ultra Instinct,
how
and then he uses teleportation, and then he uses
that's that's all key.
what's
That's
the
that's all you
that's not
using key in
that's
different forms.
teleportation is not key.
What is it?
That's just a skill set that them people on that planet know how to do. That ain't key.
Skill
They said
is
that.
when you say skill, that's you saying I can do something. How what are you using to fuel the thing you do?
They train their mind. Whatever. I don't know, like the process of what they
So
did
is
with
it
like.
like telekinesis? Because that's also in Dragon Ball, and that's explained through ki. Everyone is psychic that can use ki, and you use that in different ways. Goku literally took a glass of water and was moving it around the room because he was psychic because of his ki. Everything is just ki, and in whatever planet you want, you develop that ki differently. But it's all ki. There's no difference.
Okay, I'm gonna hold off on that part.
All right.
But okay, the niggas
Yeah.
in One Piece can't do that.
All
Shorty with
right.
their colors art, that ain't hockey. That don't make sense. But niggas in Dragon Ball can. Okay,
You know what I'm
cool. Anyway,
saying? So,
no,
and
no,
that
no,
was my
no.
point.
No more.
It's one thing on Dragon Ball, expressed in different ways, and then
No, it's
there's
not one
Hawk.
thing with Dragon Ball.
You said you're going to hold off, so until you get proof, it's one thing. It's key, expressed in different ways, and then on One Piece is there's devil fruits and there's key, and they clash, and then from that clash, we have to decide who clashes, who beats who when they clash, and all that. That's why this conversation even exists because it's the two power systems going against each other. According to you, for me, I think it's the power system of Devil Fruits. It has its strengths and weaknesses, and Luffy's exploiting the weakness, which is the whole point. This fight, even the reason they brought it up, it'd be weird for him to find out, oh, you got a weakness. All right, cool. I'm gonna use the weakness and hockey at the same time. It's like, no, I'm using the weakness and my physical strength, which is fueled by my will, which is hockey, but I'm not using a hockey technique. That's my whole point.
Hold on.
Hey man, we killing it. It's been an hour and 20 minutes so far. Great drop content. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, hockey is
So
oh here you go.
Dragon Ball has magic and key. You can
There's a fighter of the
utilize
magic.
key in different ways. you said are there two different power systems in Dragon Ball? I said yes, they are.
You didn't know
You can
about
utilize
magic.
ki in different ways, but bruh,
You didn't
I said
know,
DDD
nigga.
one.
I
No,
forgot
that's
about that dumb shit because
weird.
that old bitch,
Yeah,
that old she got purple hair and that
yeah.
top hat. Yeah, but she's not a fighter. She would like what look into the future or some shit or like you know what I'm saying?
I
Like
mean,
what
it's
is
that, but
that?
you also got the M as well too. The Majin joint. What is that called?
Yeah,
Majin B.
yeah.
That's
He
also
took
magic.
over his mind or something. No,
Yeah,
yeah. All because of head.
gave him
Okay,
power.
yeah. When Boo turned nigga into chocolate, I guess that's magic because that's not it's not key really. That was straight magic, so that makes sense. But yeah, but they never clashed. You know, it's not like oh I'm training. I'm a level 7 wizard in this bitch. I'm about to be Goku. That was always like a little like it was almost like a parlor trick. Like the boy got turned to chocolate. That was magic. That's OP. He just do that to anybody. It's like, all right, but Boo was already a strong ass nigga with Key. And it's not like someone used magic to beat Boo, who was using Key, and they clashed, and his magic overcame the Key. That never happened. So it's like,
Yeah,
you're right, it's more
okay,
than
well,
one, but magic is
thank you.
inconsequential.
I'm just saying it was more than one. I
You're
never
right.
said
You're
utilize
right.
fighters anything. It
Yeah.
was more than one. But my point still is the fact that like the way I'm comparing these two, even all three power sets with Nin, Ki, and Hockey, right?
Mm-hmm.
In all three of those series,
There's
there are
magic in One Piece
individuals that
too.
have shown
Yeah.
yet
Yeah.
to be yet to be
Come on, man.
like stated. You know what I'm saying?
All
Yet to be
right.
strongly stated. Like yes, in the world of One Piece, there are people that quote unquote say they do magic, and
Yeah,
these niggas are aware of that. But we ain't really, you know what I'm saying? So
fair.
I question mark. But anyway, in all of those series, right? I would even throw in Bleach, right? Like
Yeah,
nigga Ichigo, Goku, Luffy, and Gon. All four of those characters did things utilizing dormant powers that they were unaware that they had. All of them.
yeah.
Every last one of them.
But was it ever
So,
confused with another thing? Is the point? Because that's not the whole argument. You mainly look like, yeah, Luffy. The only thing we need to get over is the fact that Luffy was using hockey before they said hockey was a thing. I can get over that, but then to inject it but then to inject it into a situation where how he won was already explained, and then you're replacing the how it happened, and it's like why? Because
when,
if he beat
when
someone
was the
before
last
and it was unexplained, that'd be one thing. But it was already explained.
when was the last time you went back and watched that fight? When's the last time you
I'm
went back
looking
and
at
watched Alabasta?
I'm looking at the panel right now.
So you looked at what I put in the chat.
Yeah,
So you see that first one,
yeah,
he hits Crocodile,
yep.
right? Now that's it's not in that way. Well, no, it is. He hits Crocodile.
And
Then
Crocodile has blood.
I'm going.
On top of that, he's bleeding his own blood, so he's making his face vulnerable. See, nigga, it's over.
Bro, he got
It's
hit. He got
over.
hit. That's why he
That's
got hit.
the
That's why he
point,
bleeds.
nigga. His own blood it works with against him.
Luffy's using water. He does shoom shoom whip whip whip. He's running, stretches his hands. Gum gum. Who is that? Hmm. Blast a run. Right. He got hit. Crocodile catches himself. What? Luffy grabs him. The blood is irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? It went to the left. He grabs him with the left hand, right hand. You know what I'm saying? So it's irrelevant. Where his right hand is, where the blood would have went. It's irrelevant. Okay. So the fact that now you know that he's using water, Crocodile doesn't, exclamation points. Luffy does the little what's the name swirly thing. That's Gear 5 action. So he's spinning his body while his hands is in place. Impossible. Did that kid ellipses question mark? There's no reason for him to think he's using water. At this point in time, Crocodile is referencing hockey. Impossible. Did that kid, could he be able to? Is he using hockey? This is on the rooftop. We had a conversation before. I can understand if it was more than once in the story. You only showing me one time where Crocodile does it. Now I got two. This is why I go back, right? We're looking at it this way. Crocodile is saying contextually with the information that we know, because he got packed up by Whitebeard, he might be using hockey. Buzzsaw, boom. Head or hit headbutt him, kick him with his feet. I don't know. But Crocodile get hit. Only then to figure out after that, why is this a smaller one? Only then to figure out after that,
Bruh.
what's this panel? Hold on, what's this panel? Tap tap tap. Boom boom boom. What'd he say? It's getting hard to move. That's funny. I ate plenty of meat. It's just a little cut, maybe, and then he passes out. Right? Maybe I'm a little tired. Boom. Passes out. All that blood that's spilling out of him, you know what I'm saying, doing that. All that blood. That's your point, right? The hole in the body. He ain't got no bandages, like I
Yes.
said. With the hole in the body, right? Hey,
Yes.
keep that in mind. Because when I show you these other panels, well, ain't no blood when they fighting down there.
Dog, there's no way.
That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, is there any confusion that Ichigo could be doing something before? Yeah. Old boy didn't
What?
think he was a Quincy. Yeah. Old boy didn't think he was a Quincy. He's like, how he able to do that? He ain't a Quincy. Then it kind of found out his mom had Quincy powers. So that's one. I was thinking while at the same time I was reading that.
Oh
That's
my
one.
god.
Um, as far as with Nin, Gon having an ability, did they think he was doing something else instead of using Nin? No, not Gon, but it was with the nigga with the eyes. What's his name?
What
Um,
the ass?
um, Red Eye nigga. Going to get his people eyes back.
Karapika?
Um, Karapika.
What was he
Ain't no
doing?
way Buddy able to do this. They didn't know the type
Oh,
of Nin he was using. Granted,
stop, nigga. It's still Ned.
I know it's still Nin, but there's a
Ah,
little bit of slight confusion there because they didn't know
that's the
exactly what was
point of
happening.
Hunter x Hunter. You're supposed to deceive your niggas. You're not even supposed to let niggas know what powers you got unless it's part of your little contracts. But nah, that was a weak one. I like the Quincy one, but then you have to go back in the story and be like, oh shit. And it's like in that same arc, if he does something Quincy related, it's like, oh, okay, it's because his mom. But that's like the revealer. You can't go back to like episode 25 and be like, oh, he beat Zaraki because he was a Quincy. It was like, no.
I'm just simply saying he still did that, and we didn't have no explanation as to why until we knew he was a Quincy. That's all I'm getting at. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Now, chapter 203. Hold on. 'Cause Luffy finna get up, unbloody. Uh, Nico Robin throwing the water. I feel like they is brothers and sisters because Nico Robin got stabbed through the back with the hook, and Luffy got stabbed in the front with the hook. Damn near on the same side.
Mm. I've heard some people throw out the Luffy and Robin siblings theory
Yeah.
because his mom was
Luffy
kind of a
gets up.
revolutionary, dragon revolutionary, but
Luffy got up. That was a good nap. Oh yeah, I suddenly couldn't move, so I decided to take a quick nap, and now I'm better. So, oh yeah, crocodile, I'm gonna blast you. He moving. That hole looks crocodilish, right? Boom. End episode. End chapter. Going into what's the name? Luffy. What's going on here? He jumping from what's the name? What's the name? Rubble. He got dried blood on his foot. No running blood. Now you see the blood on his hands because he punches the wall to get through the pillars. Right, right, right. Hold on, I'm finna
Boy.
send it to you. Hold on. Because all the dry blood that's on his face, that should be, you can use that too because it's blood, right? Hold on.
He just won't let it go, folks. He just won't let it go.
I can't. Cause when Oda says this, bro, it's gonna be fire, bro.
When he
And y'all gonna
says
come
it,
back, bro, cause he gonna tell y'all, bro.
wow.
Luffy used hockey. Luffy used hockey when Kuma pulled up on him to watch him. He turned around like, man, it's a strong animal in the forest. He didn't know what it was. He didn't know who it was. He didn't know. He just thought it was a strong animal. But he sensed that presence. That's hockey. But this is further along in the story. But Luffy was doing that before he even left the island. To say that he's not using, bro, he trained with I forget the nigga name, and then probably was filler, but with the Ace Sabo Luffy joint to fight the
Yeah.
big tiger.
Yeah,
He was
Garp put him
teaching
in
them
the
hockey.
Garp put them in the forest, knowing it would strengthen their minds, their resolves, and their hockey if they was in dangerous situations. Like we know this. Garp is the master of training people. Train Kobe, train Kazan.
I ain't talking about guard. I ain't talking about guard. I'm talking about the dude who fought Roger. That again potentially feel like I gotta go. I ain't never
Dude who fought
like
Roger.
yeah. I think it is filler. Just anime with Ace Sabo and Luffy. They fought the tiger on to beat the tiger or whatever. See,
Okay.
you don't be watching. You don't be watching. I forgot. You don't be watching
But we're
anime.
talking
I
about
forgot.
Luffy, right?
Yeah, Luffy, Ace Sabo, Luffy.
Right.
Luffy was training
So
under
when
the.
I said Garp threw him into the forest, we're talking about Luffy. So I'm just
All right.
saying
Okay.
that him
Yeah,
being
I
in
got
the forest and learning via the wildlife and just a rough life being in a fucking jungle at 6 helped bloom his hockey, right? And it's like I know he has hockey, like we stated many a times, wasn't using it, but also he was using it. He was instinctively tapping in, and I think because forming your hockey around you is more of a technique, and you have to purposefully do that, right? Is easier than using the sensory hockey. Like you can mistakenly just pull that out with your hockey that you have. People do it all the time. Like they sense someone in the room, they turn around and shit because they see someone, feel someone looking at them. They do that all the time in One Piece, and it's not expressly like, oh, let me turn on my hot let me do that nin shit and make a bubble around me and see who's in my bubble. So it's like, yeah, I agree that a lot of skill P. It's easier to do first. It's easier to use observation hockey and armament. Just period. I think because it's like you're not interacting with something physical. And then
Luffy is using
two,
armament.
so
Luffy is using armament.
when
That's what he does against Crocodile. All right, man.
no,
Again, just keep going.
no,
Just keep going, dog.
no, no.
He's using armament, bro. He's not using armament hardening. He's using
Okay,
armament. Now the
okay,
panels
all
I
right,
just sent.
all right.
The panels I just sent them. Just I need you to look at them. Just sent them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just sent them. Okay.
Uh-huh.
He busts through the wall. You see his fists, right? You see his hands are bleeding.
Yep.
Okay. His hands are bleeding. Okay.
Profusely.
Huff,
Yeah.
huff, 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 huff. You. He kicks him.
Oh,
He kicked. He kicked him first.
do you see his feet
Ain't.
in the previous panel?
Do you see his right foot covered? It don't look like any blood on there. It's smoke.
You don't
Okay.
see his foot, right? So you don't know what's down there. So go on.
Left foot. Ain't no.
You
Okay.
don't see his feet at all. Why you keep
Hold on.
saying you
Hold
don't
on.
see it?
Hold on. So
And
we keep going. He punches. He punches him. Right. We know his blood on his hand. So okay, cool. Boom, boom. Hug, cough. Did you again? Here we are again. Did you?
drip, drip,
Then
use
he notices.
blood.
Question mark, exclamation point, exclamation point. Why would you be confused of this person using blood if you know that water can damage you? Why? You would be surprised, exclamation
Dog.
point for sure. But that the very first question again is, did this nigga use, did he figure it out? Did you
See,
blood?
before I saw this panel, I was gonna give it to you because I are you saying that he's saying while he's saying did you, he's thinking did this nigga use hockey? Oh no, he used blood. If you're going at it like that, before I saw the panel,
Cut out, cut out,
hello, hello,
cut out. I
hello,
don't know what
hello,
you
can
said.
you hear me?
Yeah,
So yeah, I was saying that I thought before I actually saw this panel again, I thought you were saying that not dopamine, crocodile is saying like, oh, you're, did you use hockey? No, you use blood because I can see the blood dripping. And he's like, I thought he used hockey for a second. That's not what this panel is saying. He's like,
bro. That's
okay,
what both panels say, bro. I showed you the one on the rooftop. I showed you the one on the rooftop first before we got here. He said,
okay,
"Is that's impossible?" He says it then. That's impossible. Like there's no way for you to be able to use hockey. That's because I packed you up. Why would you even know how to do this? That's impossible. So then now, with under this is context. Understanding this storyline from this point on with the information we already know about hockey. So let's do the understanding. That's impossible. Why would Luffy be able to do this? Because Luffy is a strong fighter. Luffy has a strong will. Let's add that. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So now we're at 1. We need the other one to get 2. So the other one would be, did you? Oh, he used blood. Of course. And he laughs about it. Crocodile laughs about it. The same way he laughed on the rooftop because he ain't figured it out.
wait,
I
what the
can't
hell?
lose to this.
Where's that panel at? I see the did you use blood. I
Oh,
don't see the
my,
laughing.
my bad, my
But
bad.
he's
I didn't
but
have. I didn't have.
that's you don't have to sit in that. But it's like
No, no, no. I'm listening. I'm listening.
it's
I'm
like
listening.
I've this nigga. It's like I feel where the sentiment's coming from, right? But then it's like the fact that he says it makes it all the more real, right? Because it's like this whole fight is
Are we not
steeped.
reading the same story?
The whole
Are we
fight.
not reading the same story?
No, we're reading the same story, and you're trying to draw more out of it than what's there.
How many times have Oda like pulled the wool from under pulled the wool over our eyes and pulled the rug from under our feet?
We
How many
can't
like
make
how
that
many
every instance, though. We can't make that every instance. You can't make that a thing.
and I'm not saying that, hey, um, Sanji boiling a pot of water and cooking, that's hockey. What I am saying is his cooking skills allow him to produce uh, uh, things in your body to make your body produce um, different outcomes.
Mm.
That's it. That's not hockey based. But if you chose to implement hockey in a way in doing that, how would you do it? Where there's an island of chefs that are Okamas that They use different kimpos, different fighting styles associated with their cooking skills that you got to collect these recipes for to be able to reach a master level in cooking, to be able to help your friends. And the only way to do that is by being in hockey based. I say everything has to do with hockey. Everything has, but everything does not have to do with hockey. With looking at this story in different ways and analyzing it, you should be able to structure the thought process in my mind, right? And what I mean by that is this: if I'm reading this story and I understand this new information, and when I go back and I look at this information again, I'm like, oh, the very first panel or the very first chapter we see at the very end with Shanks utilizing hockey. The very first time me reading that story, had no clue what that was. It was just a power. It was just a stare. He intimidated this lizard, this big sea serpent, and it
Yeah.
ran away. Dang, buddy must be strong. Was my first reference. Like the first thing I thought about that.
Man, don't try to
That's
loop
what I
this
inferred.
around to this. Do not, bro. Do
Bro,
not.
that's what this story is telling you. This is what I keep trying to get people
It's
to like.
telling us sometime, not this time. This time it was
That's all
fully
I'm saying. It's telling us
explained.
sometimes. No, it's
That
not. It's not fully explained.
it,
What it's
blood can
inferring
make
is
blood can make sand harden too, right? Huff huff. Heh. Ha ha ha. Fine. First, I'm in the desert outside Rain Base, then in the Royal Palace, and now under the mausoleum. Die a third and final time for daring to challenge me. I reward you. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But, crocodiles, that nigga. But it's right
hold on, no, keep
there.
going, keep going. No, keep going. Because when you see the
You
other
did
panel, the
you
last one
didn't
that I
send
told you
it.
before, his right no, I did. No, this is the one after that. His right foot, there ain't no blood on that. That's the one he kicked him with at first. Ain't no blood on that. So you got crocodile dodging, and we know when no blood on his left foot. Why would he dodge if it's only
His
on his hands?
he has blood
You,
on his face. Go ahead.
oh my goodness! But he said, I must. What do you say? I must what? He
Uh,
said, I'll reward your persistence, right? I'll reward your persistence, but as a pirate is bolded. So what do we know about pirates? What do we know about pirates in the story in One Piece? We know that Kuma is a buccaneer. We know that the very first pirate was Joy Boy. And we know that Joy Boy could also be a buccaneer, right? Because of his size and everything else. Potential. But we're gonna pause on that. But Joy Boy was the very first pirate. And we know Joy Boy is also synonymous with Luffy. Okay, both of these individuals are very similar. They are pretty much one and the same for the most part, based on the information we know. And with him being the very first pirate, this is what it means to be a pirate. So you having this willpower, I must admit, your never-ending drive to defeat me is indeed impressive. Why would that be stated? Because this is your will, this is your desire.
No,
You're an
no, no,
irritating
because
little
you're
yes, it
willing to
is.
use your
Yes.
blood to hit me. No, don't try to twist that into
Oh my,
will.
oh my
That's not
goodness.
him commenting on
You're
his hockey. That's him commenting on the fact that he'll use his blood. He went from water in his body
calls him a worthy foe. He
be-
calls him a worthy
because he's you,
foe.
bro. You know how epic it is to use your blood to punch someone, and what the fuck? That's what he's talking. He's clearly about the blood and him finding different ways to circumvent his fruit because he's clearly outmatched here. He died twice, pretty much, but his perseverance. He even says it. He names all the times they've been fighting. That's what he's talking about. He keeps coming back and he keeps finding ways to get around his fruit with the water. That's obvious.
That is the obvious. But we also know that in the story that there are things that are also hidden. And again, like you keep expressing, it's not in everything. I'm not saying it's in everything, but also in certain instances, you can't just disregard it. And that's what I'm bringing to the light. I'm showing you that in these moments, the same way Shanks, the very first time we see hockey in the story is in the very first chapter, at the towards the last panel.
You know what the
Going
section should
forward, there
be?
are going to be
Sorry, go ahead.
what's up?
In this section, whenever
What's
we
up?
talk about hockey, it should be called Hockey Hunt or something because we just prowling the pre-time skip for hockey feats.
That's fine, and
That'd
that's
be kind of
cool. That's a
cool.
cool name.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I be doing when I be reading. Like I just go see the read what I did before. What I started to do before, I took when Luffy punched the Lord of the Coast, and I realized like
There's no way.
when I went on this. Hold on, no, he's not using. It's I don't believe that's hockey. Then
Okay,
right, I think
thank
that's just
God.
physical. I I I just think that's his physical strength. Right? But
Yes.
again, we know all creatures have, everybody has hockey. Like
Yeah.
I'm still not disregarding that. But
Mhm.
I just think because Luffy's will also to he like I've been waiting on this whole time. I've been building up. I've been getting stronger to beat you. You know what I'm saying? So this is what he wanted to do. So his will on wanting to take out the coast, Lord of the Coast, that was referenced in that. But no, I don't think he was using hockey in that moment. Why? Because he physically hit this thing and knocked it out, right? But at the same time, if that was the will for him doing that, hey, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to thinking that because that's what this story tells us, right? But the reason why I was focused on that because he physically touched this thing. What I started to look for was moments where I start to see spacing or I don't know if it shows it in the let me get a panel where you can see like somebody being hit and it's like a different drawing made. Was that on one of the panels with Crocodile?
Mm.
Let me get. Nah, it's not on there. Yeah. Okay. Um, can you go back to the one I sent at 7:36 and look at that first one then?
Really?
Just real quick. I just want to show you like why I was doing that.
726. Okay.
7:36.
Oh. The one with Luffy in his fist?
You got the barrel on the back and Crocodile getting
Oh,
punched.
that one. Yep. What about it?
Okay, so you see the part where Crocodile actually got hit at right, and then his face is over there. So it's showing you where the moment of impact happened,
Uh-huh.
right? So when you look at the Lord of the Coast, there's none of that. You just see cheek. You see Luffy like actual physical contact. That's it. You start to see that impact in between Luffy and the person he's coming in contact with. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so is this a slow progression of hockey? You can't do that now because I have other panels where you see that and it shouldn't be applied. So because you see it with swords. I'm like, so are they using hockeys? Oh, okay, well it's metal. Maybe this is just to show a reference of like hard impact. Okay, cool. That's fine. So cool. Hard impact. Cool. So this person really hit him. But why would it show a hard impact here with Luffy and Crocodile? Well, because it's the first time him hitting them. So okay, cool. That makes sense. Right? Because other panels we don't see that. Right? We don't see that with him bloodied up. We don't see this. So I'm like, okay, so that wouldn't even reference hockey then. That's I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. So I'm not saying hockey is in everything Oda is doing. That's my point in that, right?
Okay.
That's why I stopped going on that journey doing that because I'm like, it's so difficult in doing it that way because it's not consistent. There's no consistency in that in the series that I've seen pre time skip, right? Post time skip, a lot different. You can see where there's more consistencies with him coming to a conclusion of like this, like what he's doing with the power and the direction, in my opinion, because the panels attribute to that. Okay, but obviously in this own art, I'm showing you like where there are indifferences. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the point though, outside of like that one, if with not if with hockey being just like air for us, anything Luffy does is riddled in hockey. He just
Yeah.
don't know until he knows. Once we knew as readers, and Luffy knew as the main protagonist, and Emu directed him knowing, because obviously he just been watching this whole time. You feel me? He was watching Harold this whole time. He literally has eyes on people.
Mm-hmm.
So he been watching Luffy.
That's you know
Hey
what's
man,
funny? They was talking about this on timeline today. Because I think anime came out. Um, Rocks got turned, got Domi Reversi, with just getting plunged or whatever. Fucking Sabo and Cobra got hit, no Domi Reversi. So that either means he just wasn't trying to do it at that time, which is most likely the thing. Like he wouldn't even think, he was just like, I'm gonna kill you. Fuck Domi Reversi, I don't even know you. But it's like, what if he tried and couldn't? You know what I'm saying? Like, are there stipulations that make it so you can't get Domi Reversi? Because it's like Rox was saying some weird shit before he turned him. Like he was talking about his mom and dad, and that got me thinking. Like, if Emu signed a contract with somebody tied to you in some kind of way, can Emu like collect like a debt? Is he like a kind? Can he debt collector this shit, and it just moves on to you? Because it's like the Davy clan, wronged him in some kind of way to where he is sending all his forces to annihilate any remnants of the Davy force or of the Davy clan. So it's like, what if Davy Jones made some kind of contract? He skipped out on the bill. Emu punished him, and then since whoever's in his family, just like Pirates of the Caribbean, whoever's in your family can they just happened to be on the same ship. It wasn't like a family curse, but it's like, like he can collect from somebody close to you. Like he was able to turn Elbaf because he turned Harold. So it's like now all the giants are up for grabs for Dome University because of the contract. You can get rocks
what I think,
because of the Davy clan. Oh, go ahead.
what I think is it's just riddled in hockey, man. It's just what hockey is. So again, like, because people go, oh, it's the homeland because they ain't do it in the homeland. That's why Emu trying to flood everything and have everybody live on the tequila wolf and this other section and all sort of stuff, and everybody on the same bridge because then everybody come from the same home. No, because if that's the case, why is one tequila wolf? Why is one this something? Why is this other thing? They come from different places. Even though they come from the same bridge, they still would come from different sections. It still wouldn't be that same home. That's like living in the same state but having different cities.
Yeah.
So I don't even think it's that. I I think it's literally what this story has showed us this entire time. There's a power that Shanks is able to use as far as like being able to prevent someone from using their hockey. And my correlation to that is when the Gorosei looks at Luffy utilizing Conqueror's hockey in that type of way, or roaring, or it's either looking at him or roaring. I can't remember. And Luffy gets knocked out of doing an attack. Like he gets dizzy because of it. The same way you got to be calm and being able to utilize your hockey is that reference.
All right. This is a great combo, but I
Watch what
actually
they
have
call.
to get up out of here. So if you want to do a part two to this, if you're free tomorrow, we can fit it because we got
So
2 hours right now.
like that crazy. It's crazy. I'm gonna just finish this. Rock said, well, Emu brought in his what's his name, his wife and son. That distracted him. Because that distracted him, that's why Emu was able to take over because he wasn't calm in that aspect. That's it. That's all it is.
Okay.
Why? There's no need for him to use Sabo for anything. There's no need for him to use Cobra. Cobra's a dying man. He's gonna die there. He's trying to kill Sabo. He's not trying to reverse him. He don't even know who the fuck Sabo is.
Yeah, that's why I said at first that it's probably the most logical answer, but I was trying to figure out like maybe it's something else, just like the crocodile thing. Like, yeah, on the surface it's this, but it could be something else. But
No, because like you said, it could just be these one things, man. It could
I
just
mean,
be
I
one thing.
agree.
It ain't that.
I think crocodile got hit by blood, and that's I agree. It's sometimes it's not that complicated. You're 100%
Like,
right.
comment, subscribe, man. Everybody have a dandy time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's 2 hours in the bank, man, on the dot, actually. Good shit.